Hollow hearts. We Oh snap! Miggy is back. What's up, my people of YouTube? Miggy is here. Let me make sure I turn off the volume on this. There we go. Let me turn the volume off so I don't hear myself while I'm monitoring. So what's up, everybody? I know it's been about a week. Let me make sure this looks right. Looks a little dark. Let me bring my settings up a little bit. Almost knocked over the mic. I just been gone for a week and it's already taken me this long to get settled in. let me go over there and make this a little bit brighter. For some reason, like the quality on OBS, it lowers the quality. I don't know why it does that, but anyway, let me just make this a little bit brighter for you guys. Here it is. Let's see if that works. That should be the work there. There you go. Yeah, it doesn't look quite as good as I remember. I don't know why. I think something happens with OBS every single time like you mess with stuff. It just doesn't like doing stuff. It gets lazy. But whatever. There it is. So, Let me make sure I have the chat here open. We're going to be going over a few stuff today in case you guys got to catch up. So last week, oh no, I didn't want to do that. Hold on. There we go. All right. Moving stuff about. Okay, so there we go. Now we got that popping. We got that going where we needed to go. Okay, so last week we just released a song called Cybernetic Heart, my band Chasing Stars, and today I'm going to be going over like a mix breakdown of what I did. Now, note this song has actually been recorded for about 2 years. I wrote it like about 2 years ago, and we decided to like go back and like make a redesigned version of that probably like about another year ago. So it's just been sitting on the computer. When I went back to mix it, I had to like really think about like what did we do to this, because I don't remember half of the stuff that we recorded, what we tracked, what layers we added, none of that stuff. So essentially it sat for my in my computer for like 6 months until 6 months after 6 months ago. I sat there and I kind of like restructured some things, added some synths, because it was a very different song before. But so that's why like you guys will see some of the stuff on here. It's like scattered all over the place. There's nothing more annoying than going back and mixing something that you wrote like a year ago because you don't remember what you did or what plugins. There's no like formula yet. You get me? And this was like very bare bones before the whole mixing thing was taken off, before I was like decent at it. So it was a clusterfuck. I had to go back and retrack vocals. So it was a pain in the ass. I'm gonna take these glasses off today. Actually, I'm not feeling them because my eyes kind of need to adjust a little bit. But anyway, we're gonna start with the breakdown of this stuff. So I did have a question on. Let me go over here and close up. All right, Instagram people, go over to the YouTube side. Let me wait. I know Steven's gonna be here any second. Steven's the man. But I had a question here from, I don't remember his name. Okay, tag us when you do. This is gonna take me a little bit. Let me see. It wasn't that long ago. It was like yesterday ago. So Martini Krentz, if that's right. It says, okay. Let me see what the comment was. So he put two things. One thing is, happy to find you. Thank you, bro. Thank you for finding me. Welcome to Miggy Writes Metal. Please more on the game between heavy guitars and epic synths. So I guess he just wants to know how like guitars and synths correlate. Now I'm assuming that you want to know how to blend guitars with synths. That's a very common thing in like modern music, and I'll show you because it's all over this track. This track was like really inspired by Starset, and I love Starset, so this kind of like makes sense. And he also put, what do you think about a tutorial like I Prevail, Into Hell, or like this? So I'm going to be working on that. I don't really listen to too much I Prevail. I'll be honest, I don't listen to much music, period. But I'll listen to it, and then I'll see if I could come up with a tutorial like how to write like I Prevail or something like that. Because I know you guys like those. So let's get on the topic of heavy guitars, how to make heavy guitars and synths fit. So okay, let me go on. And thank you, Martin. Thank you for asking the question, Bray. I hear myself double, so excuse me if I kind of like I sound like I'm a little slow. But let's go here. Let's get on the. Okay, cool, awesome. So now I can monitor everything. So let me turn this off. I just got to make sure that's doing its thing there. Don't really need that open all the time. Okay, so let's get into it. I might make this its own video. So let's
Here we lose this resilience with no purpose to feel. We drown in our own cold-hearted existence.
Okay. Let me find him first of all.
Before I feel a thing, too many times I've been let down, left to drown. Cybernetic heart, come back to me.
Something sounds weird about this, and this is what I was saying, like something oh man.
That's cybernetic heart. What I wanted, I'd rather.
Okay. So let me see. Okay, so I got guitars here. Very simple guitars, by the way.
Cybernetic. I doubt before I feel a thing. Too many times I've.
Hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure out where this is over here. I haven't opened this since like I mixed it, so my brain is kind of like, what's going on? There's a stupid sound here that I'm pretty sure is the guitar synths. Oh no, those are the atmospheric chords. Okay, cool. So let me put here. Put their atmospheric pads. There we go. And there should be one that's a guitar layer, and I think. Okay, that's there. Vocals. Okay, so I think it's this one actually. Oh, I gotta open up Serum and like get splice activated. That's the reason why. It's being a little stupid. There we go. Perfect. I'm like, what the hell's going on? What?
Cyber. They shut down before. Let down, left to drown. Cybernetic heart, come back to me.
Okay, I figured it out. So, let's dive into it. For this track, I don't think I have really any guitars layered with the synth.
Too many times I've been.
Anyway, let me open up the full screen so you guys can see it. Sorry, that took me a little bit of time. Let me see. Alrighty, we are here. We are here. Inside Logic. Alright guys, so this is Cybernetic Heart. This is literally the whole track. More tracks than what I'm used to for a song. But like I said, once you start sitting down and making layers and layers and layers and layers, this is what you kind of get. Let me see what I have, because I have here these guitar synths. I don't even know.
I'd rather be shut down before I feel a thing.
Very vocal forward. So how do you make synths fit with guitars in a mix? Now these are bounced down. They're not like synths anymore, but I'm gonna show you how to make one really quick so you guys understand it. I missed the start, but I'm here. What's up, Steve? Dude, it's all right. The start, I was just trying to figure out what I'm doing anyway, so it's all good. So we're going to do this live. I'm going to show you guys how to make this sound live because, like I said, this was back in the day, and if you look at the chain over here on the right, on the left, sorry, it's convoluted. We don't need all of that. There's an easier way of doing this, and there's a newer way that I do it, so I'm just going to get rid of this. I'm going to start from scratch. And we're gonna write our own pads to it. So now this is what I normally tend to do with this stuff. Hit delete there. Just delete this stuff. And then we're going to add a new software instrument track. I like to use Splice. I think I'm gonna get that new plugin that came out. I forgot. Dusty just reviewed it. Steve, do you know the name of it? I forgot the name. Jordan Fish. That sounds really cool. It does a lot of the things that we kind of already do on the back end. It just makes it easier in like one plugin. But we're going to start messing with this stuff. So first thing I want to do is open up Serum. Okay. We want to open up Serum, and we want to make like a saw. So let's. This is already literally the default sound. Alt textures, yes, yeah, for the Jordan Fish plugin. I want to get it. I want to get it, man. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to start this from the top as if we're like doing a YouTube video because I'm actually gonna break this down into a video. So. Bear with me. You guys will learn something, and if you guys have any questions in the chat, just let me know throughout it, and then I'll do it. So, let me go back here and find his name. I keep forgetting your name. Is it Martini? I'm just gonna call you Martin. So, all right. So we got a question from Martin the other day asking, how do I make guitars and synths kind of work together? That wasn't the direct question, but I assume that's what he was asking. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. So what we do, first of all, let's go to Logic. We're going to add a track here, just Serum. Any kind of synth that can do a synth, like a sine wave or like a saw sound will work fine for this. And what I like to do is that I like to grab the bass, which is up here, the bass MIDI, and then we're going to paste it onto there. So let's go here, let's copy, not duplicate, add the okay. So now this is the bass and these are the synths. We're gonna name this guitar synth layer. If you're not doing this, then there's probably a reason why your mixes aren't sounding like big and like clean. It's because this is like a big thing that a lot of producers do. Every producer does this nowadays. There are very few of them that don't. So what we're going to essentially do is add a synth underneath our guitars that follows the guitars. It's going to be distorted. It's not going to be super up front, but it's just going to be there to add more depth to the guitars and make them sound like they're bigger, right? So what we're going to do is like let's take the breakdown here because that's the most interesting part. And of course that's going to happen because let me tell you, this song took a lot of processing. So essentially what we have for the breakdown is so we want bigger sounding guitars. I should probably turn the vocals off. Let me turn the vocals off. Sorry, Tyler. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go to our synth sounds. And we're going to make that saw wave like sit with the guitar. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to Serum. This is literally as Serum loads in, there's nothing on here yet. I do have a few presets, but I'm gonna start from 0 just so you guys can see what it actually is. It's actually very simple. So the first thing that I do is we go here to oscillator. My bad, this oscillator. And we're gonna change this value here to hold on, it's freaking out. Serum is freaking out. Today is not my day. Things ain't working for me. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, go turn this oscillator off, turn this one on. And the reason why I turned this one off and this one on, this is more like a sub for like, you know, low-end bass. You could use it either or, but just my brain likes to go here. So anyway, so we're going to change this this value here, the unison value. We're going to change it to like 4 or 5. And all this is going to do, it kind of gives you like a chorus effect. When you detune him, it's going to make him sound whiter, right? So listen to what it does to the synth, to the saw wave as I bring it up. Now you could play with as many as you want. Typically, odd numbers, you'll have like a sine wave in the center. Like if you see like right here, oh, I can't do it. You'll see you have 5 oscillators or 5 bars in unison. That there's one down the middle, and if you do 4, then you'll have 2 left and 2 right, and so on and so forth. So 6, 3, and 3. So essentially, that's what's going on. So I like to keep it at 5 just because I like to kind of like meld in with the bass a little bit more. And then what I do is that I start detuning it to the point where it's like not too crazy. That's actually where it's at might already work, but we're going to hit. I think right there is fine. And then what we're going to do, we're going to throw in some distortion. Now, you could mess around with like noise if you wanted to add noise. That little hissing sound. I don't, because I typically don't like really, you know, really bright guitars, but that does work if you have like really dark guitars and you want to kind of brighten them up a little bit. It kind of helps like bring that up with it. You have to bring the treble up on the guitars. So that was a cluster fuck of whatever I just said, but I like to keep it this way. So I like to go to effects, and we could add a touch of chorus to it. Just a little bit to like soften it up. And then what I do is that I literally run it through a guitar amp. So whatever guitar amp I use the Nolly one. This is what I do. I just run it through this amp. Let's take all these effects off. Put it in stereo. And obviously we got to bring the volume down, but... And that's how I blend with the guitar. So let's hear it with and without. Without guitar. Not bad. You could get away with it, but now with the synth layer... It just adds a little bit of something there, you know? And you could get crazy with it. You could make him sound darker. Sometimes I go an octave down from the guitars to make it a little bit bigger, but we kind of already have some of that going on already on the bus track itself. But we will get there when we get there. So that's essentially how you make synths follow your guitars. Many different ways of doing it. Mick Gordon uses a plugin called I forgot what it's called, Morph, and essentially what he does is he takes a chainsaw sound and blends it in with the guitar. It's a really weird mad scientist way of doing things, but that's how he gets like that weird guitar sound. You know, that's his sound. So but experiment with it. I showed you guys kind of the basics so you guys get away with it. Like I said, any kind of like saw wave will work for this. You don't have to use Serum because Serum is a little bit pricey. But you could use anything. I mean, I could probably use one of those stock Logic ones, and I will use one of those stock Logic ones when I start mixing a track. I put a post out asking you guys if you wanted to see me mix a song with only Logic plugins, like literally down to like amps, drums, everything. Everything's gonna be just Logic, which is it's gonna suck for me, but we'll do it. So all we'll do is that we'll do kind of one of those like writing things. Well, I'll write a song live with you guys. I'll track it all with Logic plugins, and then we'll make another one about me mixing it with the Logic plugins. I gotta plan a day for that, but holidays are coming. Gotta plan a holiday. Do the Logic thing. That's right, Ming. By the way, Steven, I don't know if you caught that, but this song is actually one that Chasing Stars released last week, last Thursday. It's been sitting in the vault for about 2 years since I wrote it. We reopened it a year ago. We started messing with it, and then and then 6 months ago, I'm like, you know what? Let's work this, and we added all the little fancy stuff, and we had to retrack some vocals because after 2 years, things change. So this is one of my band's songs. But yeah, so that's how we got there. So let's go through like the basic mix now. I'll be honest with you guys, this is probably not the best song to explain to you guys my mixing process, because the drums in this track were made with Tony's old drums. Like they're not MIDI. That's why I see like half of these are like overheads, toms, and then I have a kick and snare track over here, because we went back and we replaced the kick and snare with the Architects and the RS kick drum. So it's kind of you're an algorithmic disaster. That's right. Oh shit, the past year is here. The past year is here. But yeah, that's how we got that sound going. Bass, I have like 3 different bass. Where's my other bass? I don't know, there's got to be another bass in here. There's a lot of bass. Here we go. There's an 808. It's all over the place. Like this, there's nothing more annoying for a music producer to go back and like try to mix something that was already written like 2 years ago, and it just kind of sits there and you're just like, like the process is dreadful, because now I have like templates, so like it's all of this stuff is like way easier, and it's normally what I show you guys. But man, let me tell you, looking back at this from 2 years ago, this was a cluster. Like different overheads, different toms with the kits that don't match. It's rough. And we have one more song to go that was also written around the same time to close out the EP. So that's another one that's a bit of a cluster. But that one's a lot easier song to work with. What's up, girly? What's up, girly? Is there anything you guys want to know about this track? Or do you guys just want to ask me any questions or give me like video ideas? I have my notepad. I have it here. The problem is that I have the notepad, but I don't have a pen. Let me find a pen real quick. Hold on. I gotta find a pen. I found a pen. So do you guys have any questions for me on mixing this track? Any instrumentation you guys want to go over? What's my favorite spot in the song? My favorite spot in the song. My favorite spot of the song is actually like that part where it says, we are your mechanical masters. You're an algorithmic disaster. We repeat that part twice in the song. It's a very simple song. So I don't remember if it's here. Yeah, I think probably pre-bridge. like bridge. I think that's my favorite part right there. Just like the amount of like vocal effects that I had to do, because I was like, in reality, I'll be honest with you guys, to me this song really defines what Chasing Stars is as a band. But it was one of those, like, I'm kind of like one of those producers where, like, if we have to like write something that's like a certain theme, like this is Cybernetic Heart. I wrote this about watching Cyberpunk for the first time like 2 years ago, watching the anime, and it just like, kind of inspired me to write this one and Heartless Machine. So I'm one of those producers where, like, when it comes to writing something that's in a certain theme and the way that I like it to sound, everything kind of has like mold around it, because I did pop for so long, and in pop music you kind of know those things. Like if somebody mentions, like, you know, I gotta say a pew pew because YouTube, but like if somebody mentions a pew pew, you could hear a pew pew, you know, like slide, or like a shotgun or something. You get me? A shotgun sound, or like a clank or something, you know, like stuff like that. So that's where this kind of came from. So it's just a whole bunch of like synth layers and like stutter vocals, the vocoder, stuff like that. Heartless Machine, I like Heartless Machine too. Heartless Machine is probably it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite song, but Heartless Machine was one of those songs that when I wrote it, it was like, this is the song to go to the next level. Like that was a good song to, you know, turn everything up a notch. It kind of broke everything out, you know. So it actually sounded very different from where it is now released. It was a lot more kind of like this, but we released it, so there it is. We released it, so there it is. Yeah, but just the little sound. All those little, I love messing around with those little sounds. I like all the weird stuff. I like the weirdest stuffeth. Let me find my bases. So my bases are, I haven't covered much like mixing bass, even though I'm like I'm a bass heavy guy. So let me find bass guitar. That's the guitar synth layer we just made. A guitar synth. This isn't really doing anything now that we got rid of it. Let me get rid of this whole track. Pads, Plux 1. So much crap. Do more. This is so good. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do more. I already have like some stuff written for the next set of songs. We just gotta go back and do some vocals and like some production stuff. But it takes me a while. It takes me a while to like really sit there and redefine and like define what I want to do. It's not really like the mix. Really, the mix doesn't take me that long. It's more of like, what can I do to make this certain section kind of stick out? You know, because unfortunately everybody now has like TikTok brain. So if you make something sound the same for too long, people get bored of it. So that's really where it's hard for me. Where it's like, all right, we gotta sit there, we gotta do something a little bit weird. Okay, but for bass, I have. Let me solo my voice so you guys can hear me while I find the bass over here. We got the bass low, and we got the bass clank. And essentially all this is a bass that's like split. So the typical, you know, low pass. Now I did it in the plugin Don't ask me why. Like I said, this was a while back. So I just took off the mid and high gain on parallax. And then on this one, I did the opposite. I took off the low and just left the clank. I didn't add any low mids because the synths were going to fill that space anyway. Because this song is so like synth heavy that I didn't really need that to fill that space in. Although I didn't need to add a little bit of like 700 for some reason over here. It was a while ago. It was a cluster. If you guys look at one of my mixing sessions now, and you guys have seen it compared to this, night and day difference. What do you think is the biggest difference between mixing your music and mixing someone else's? You're more anal with your music. Like the way that I produce our stuff, I'm very like, not that it's bad, it's just I critique myself too much. Or we critique ourselves too much. So like we always think that, oh, something could always be better, but it's already good. But it's, you know, that self-doubt kind of hits like, maybe this part sucks. Maybe this riff sucks. Maybe you should just burn this whole song. You know, that kind of shit. But it's not like when it comes to like mixing is a breeze. It's not anything complicated. It was hard for this one. Because for this one, it was, I mean, we're going back like 2 years, you know, so that's why that was difficult. But in reality, when it comes to like now with my templates, oh my God, it's shit. I could after it's all tracked and said and done, I could probably just have to sit there and like mess with a few settings and it's good. But I think that's the hardest. I think every producer has that problem because I've talked to a lot of producers and they have the same issue. Even like producers that are in bands are like, yeah, the hardest thing for me is like sitting there and like making sure everything is perfect. Like we'll have like this hyper vigilant ear of like, oh, this one little thing is like bothering me over here, but it's really not that big of a deal. You can show it to anybody else and they'll be like, eh, cool, dude, it sounds great. That's the hardest part. Like the hardest part is knowing when you're done. And then obviously, you know, putting it out to the world. Let me bring this gate up a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I was hearing like some stupid hung, hung, hung. That part deserves a like. So if you guys don't give me a like, we're gonna fight. Give me a like or I'll be gone for another week. Look, I'm giving myself hearts. Come on, my people. This is overall, this is a pretty chill stream, so I just want to know, like, whoever comes in here, if they have any questions about anything or whatever, you know, just let me know. We're not going to be doing much music production stuff today. I have it open for theatrical reasons. But in the meantime, I think I could play the track for you guys. Now, this one is very like vocal heavy, so I wanted it to be like very vocal up front. I noticed that with a lot of like newer mixes, especially the stuff coming out like modern day, you know, like modern metal and stuff, the vocals are so quiet that I could barely hear them. And I'm a big fan of like vocals up front because, like I said, I came from pop and EDM music where the vocals are up front and the percussion's up front. So that's why my drums tend to always be like loud with my vocals and bass guitar, and everything else is kind of like a sprinkle like guitars. So, but for this one, I wanted that sound to it. So I'm going to play it for you guys. If you hate it, it's cool. But let me know. And if you like it, head over to Spotify and, you know, give Chasing Stars a nice little follow on there. It's Chasing Stars, like CHXSNGSTXRS. It's in my description. I'm gonna do like a director's cut. I'm gonna play the track and I'm gonna tell you guys, oh, this part. That's what we're gonna do.
We are laying bare.
Originally, that part didn't have violins. There was no violins in the whole song. The whole song was digital. And we went through... Where are the violins? Oh, man. me see, plucks, pads. Here we go, orchestra. So, yeah, these violins were originally not.
We are laying bare.
I felt like the song was so digital that I needed something organic to kind of like bring it, bring it back to life. And then we added these violins here on the.
It's Cybernetic home.
They're very quiet in the background of the track, but they're there, Without it, it sounds kind of like boring. Because originally I was hearing it and it was just this.
Cybernetic home. I'd rather be shut
Which is not bad.
before I feel a
So we have the violin.
Too many times I've been let down, left to drown. Cybernetic.
It kind of brings the element of like, it's like, I don't know, like it's it feels like it gives it like a sense of like anxiety, And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. We'll do that. Like the violins fighting with all these like synthetic instruments. All right, so back to where I was before I get too ahead of the director's.
Lose this resilience.
Here we go.
We are laying bare to this human existence. With hollow hearts we fear we lose this resilience. With no purpose to feel, we drown in our own cold-hearted existence.
So, I know somebody's gonna ask me about the lyrics. So, like I said, I wrote this when I first watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the anime, and it kind of gave me like that anime is really heartbreaking, like most animes, but that one is like nobody wins in that anime. Yeah, no spoilers, but that anime is very deep. And I have like an obsession with like sci-fi stuff and like robotics and electronics and AI and that kind of shit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write something about this world that just kind of, it feels so like you almost like you can't even live in it. It's like it's such like the world. If I've played the game, right? I've played Cyberpunk 2077. It's one of my favorite games. I beat the game like 8 times in like a span of 2 months. But it like the world when you're in it, you're like, damn, this is so cool. It almost looks like Tokyo, It's like you got neon signs, you got futuristic cars. It's like a mix of like this 80s vibe with like modern technology. Everybody's like augmented. It's like super cool. But at the same time, it's like so dreadful because it's like corporations run everything. And nobody could like really do anything. It's just everything's so controlled by like the corporations, which are essentially the government in that world. And the way that the characters are portrayed, it's like in the beginning, it's like, they're like normal people, and then by the end of it, it's like they become like these heartless machines. Heartless machine, eh? They become like these heartless killing machines. Like they have like, it's almost like they lose their humanity. So that's what I wanted with Cybernetic Heart, which is the reason why the chorus says, not what I wanted. I'd rather be shut down before I feel a thing. Because it's like, you kind of still have that sense of humanity there that it's like, pulling you in to do good, but you can't get there anymore because you're so far gone. So, anyway, that got pretty deep. That got philosophical and deep.
To this human existence, with hollow hearts we fear we lose this resilience. With no purpose to feel, we drown in our own cold-hearted existence. Cybernetic home. I'd rather be shut down before I feel a thing. Too many times I've been let down, left to drown. Cybernetic heart, come back to me.
There's a few little touches of vocal stuff there that you guys can probably pick up on. There's this little filter vocal here that says, "Not what I wanted." I didn't want it to be just like a dry, not what I wanted, so I think I added like some chorus to it. Yeah, it's got like chorus. It's pretty chorused out too. There's a lot of it. 70% chorus. And it just gives it like this, not what I wanted. Like it's almost like your thoughts telling you, not what I wanted. So.
Not what I wanted.
With a delay and reverb, it's kind of like you calling out to yourself, you know, like you don't want this, but you had no choice.
That's cybernetic heart. I'd rather be shut down before I feel a thing. Too many times I've been let down, left to drown. Cybernetic heart, come back to me.
This is everybody's favorite part.
We are your mechanical masters. You're an algorithmic disaster. We do things better and faster. Bow down to your new gods.
So, from my explanation before, gods are the corporations that have taken over the whole all of Night City. So that's what gods is, and the corpos, like, they pretty much are the gods. Like, they own everything. It's almost like I started playing this this RPG game. I love RPGs. It's called Kingdom Come. It's hard to be mature with that name, but there's a game called Kingdom Come, and it's like, you know, you start off as this kid who knows nothing. You suck at everything. You could barely even talk to people in this game, yet alone wield a sword. It's like very medieval. And like Bohemia, it's based around like Bohemia. It's a fantasy storyline, but it's very realistic in the way that it's based. It's not fantasy. It's not World of Warcraft. It's not Leagues of Legends. It's none of that stuff. It's very kind of like more based in realism. And it's almost like that dynamic where it's like, you know, the kings have everything. They own the land. They own, you know, and then you have the peasants. It's pretty much the same thing, but just with hyper technology. So, where was I going with this? Yeah, that's where the whole God thing comes in. So we are your mechanical masters. You're an algorithmic disaster. Because nobody, like, I mean, think about it. I'm going to give you guys a thought thing, all right? If you live in a world where everything is augmented, everything is like cybernetic, and you could like enhance yourself, it's going to be very obvious that there's going to be like different parts of that comes in. So like you're going to have, let's say you want to replace your arm, right? You have different kinds, qualities of arm. You could have like a cheap arm that's just cosmetic. You could have like arms that like make you stronger, but the quality is going to vary. It's almost like comparing like cell phones, you know, that's kind of what it is. So everybody wants to achieve, to aim for like, you know, like an iPhone, but you can't afford an iPhone because you're like a peasant in this technological world. So all you could afford is like an Android 4 or something. That's my equivalent. It's probably not the best analogy, but that's kind of like what it is, you know? So the corpos are the ones that own the highest tech. They have full surveillance over everybody. They own everything. They're the ones that have the military secrets. They know everything about it. And the peasants are just kind of like running around fighting amongst each other. And if you get into a fight with the corpos, you might just lose because they have military power. Did I explain that right? I got 3 or 4 of you guys in here. Did I get that right? You guys get where I'm coming from? Let's continue.
We are your mechanical masters. You're an algorithmic disaster.
This verse was so different from this. Like, this verse was like a straight verse, like a synthwave kind of verse. I remember that. And then we changed it because it was like, it was kind of like, whatever, you know? It sounded like your typical, like, metalcore synthwave kind of like song. And I was like, I want to do something different. Like I want to break it up. I don't want to make it all sound the same. So that's kind of where we ended up with the cinematic synths and pulses and the toms and stuff.
We do things better and faster. Bow down to your new gods. Cybernetic heart. What I wanted. I'd rather be shut down before I feel a thing. Too many times I've been let down, left to drown. Cybernetic heart, come back to me.
Tyler Screams. Tyler wasn't in this track when I wrote it 2 years ago. We added Tyler Screams like 6 months ago. It's like, Tyler, you're taking over these screams, bruh. So this is pretty much the bridge part. So it's the same repeat of the second verse. It's just a little bit different for the breakdown to come. And I wanted to give it like the sense of like, you know, you're turning into one of those like mechanical masters, you know? That's why like as the song goes, the vocals become more and more augmented. So up to here, the beginning of the song was like very normal and natural sounding until the chorus is coming and you hear that little, you know, thought, whatever. But then here it's like, holy shit, like you're completely like in it. Like you have become this inhuman object that's just going around and like thinking for everybody. So Tyler there screams bow down, because you know we are your mechanical masters, bow down. I did a few little effects on his vocals here, like a little bit of glitching effects. I did a pitch shift on one of his vocals, just to make it sound a little bit different, you know. I got inspired to do that from listening to Starset's new album, Silos. Oh man, it's so good. And there's some parts in there, some tracks, and I think it's in Degenerate, where like he does this kind of like scream, and then you hear like it's pitched down, and he does that with his like clean vocals too. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea, you know. He's not gonna pull off screaming that low live, but it's a nice little texture to add to the track. It kind of makes people think of, oh, what the fuck was that, you know? That's kind of the stuff that I like. That is one of my favorite. Okay, this is one of my favorite parts in the song. That because I was like listening to this without this. I was listening to this part and I'm like, they need something there, right? Like it's such a drastic. It's a stupid little thing that makes such a big difference. Like if I just play it. It sounds like it'll work, but I was like, it needs something there. And I broke my head for like an hour trying to figure this out. I'm like, we need something there. So I just went on the piano, I went, and I'm like, no, that works. It's like the heart talking back to you. So this high chorus part here wasn't originally in the song. This high singing part here, originally this wasn't in the song, but Tony was hearing it. He's like, you should do something a little bit different for the last chorus and add, you know, before I feel a thing. And I'm like, yeah, let's try it out. So yeah, that's how it's it. Before I feel a thing. Come back to me. There's a little bit of like a pitch shifter in there.
Too many times I've been let down, left to drown. Cybernetic heart, come back to me. Cybernetic heart. I'd rather be shut down before I feel loud.
This whole last part here was completely made up. So this was like after 3 months of reworking the song, I wanted to change the ending of it because originally the ending was going to end with like the loop of the breakdown. So it was going to end like this, right?
Rather be shut down before I feel loud.
Originally that's how it was going to end. But I'm like, you know what? Let's do something a little bit different. Let's just follow what the violins are doing. So essentially, the last guitar part is just following what the violins are doing on the chorus. With 2 guitars, I think they're doing a separate harmony left and right. But it's just following what the violins are doing. So the violins are have the harmonies in it. You can kind of hear like those thirds and fifths in there. And that's how we end the song for the studio version of it. For the recorded version, when we play it live, we actually add the breakdown again at the end of that. It works really well for live. This is the song that we open up with. And for the longest time, it was put off and off and off. And I'm like, all right, we got to get it done. So we got it done. It's out. You can go on Spotify, jam it out, loop it 70,000 times, share it with your friends, do the thing. Do it. This last part too, this was also in the original track. We added this at the end with the, let me cut these up to make it easier so you guys can see it. This is just layers of Tony and Tyler doing, we are your mechanical masters, you're an algorithmic disaster. We do things better and faster, bow down to your new gods. So it's just them doing that, so I just put your new gods over here. And this is what this kind of sounds like by itself.
We are your mechanical masters, you're an algorithmic disaster. We do things better and faster, bow down to your new gods.
And that's it. There's no like tuning on that or anything. It's just them, the way that they sang it. I didn't want it to be like perfectly aligned. I wanted to sound like a human, like people or like in a crowd. You get me? So, but that adds a nice little touch to the end of the song, kind of like ties it all in. And yeah, that's pretty much Cybernetic Heart. That is pretty much Cybernetic Heart. So, with that said, I think I'm going to end it there, my guys, my people, my peoples, the people of YouTubes. Because, your boy's exhausted. But yeah, guys, so if you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. What would you guys like to see next? Excuse me. What would you guys like to see next? I think next time I'm going to be going live is, we have the holidays coming, so this is kind of like, it's a weird time. So I'll be going live next week, possibly like Monday or Tuesday. But I'll always let you guys know before I go live on the post. So make sure you guys get the notifications and you guys subscribe to the channel so you guys know what's going on. And with that said, my people, hold on, am I in the right place? No, I'm not in the right place. Brain is shot. With that said, my people,